The alarm bells rang through the trading ship Zephyr's Edge as Captain Veltar rushed to the bridge. His crystalline blue skin reflected the emergency lights while his forearms moved across the control panels with practiced speed. The Kethany. Captain had been traveling the trade routes for over 30 years, but he had never seen readings like these. "Captain, we are receiving a distress signal from Sector 7, reported his science officer, Quindle. The tall alien's voice carried the musical quality that all Kethany possessed. "The signal is weak, but consistent. It appears to be coming from an unknown vessel." Veltar studied the display screen with his large, compound eyes. The ship that appeared before them looked primitive compared to their advanced technology. Its hull was dark gray and covered with scars from what looked like weapon damage. Strange symbols were painted on its side, but the universal translator could not decode them. "How long has it been drifting?" Veltar asked. "Our sensors indicate approximately 6 standard days," Quindle replied. "Life support appears to be minimal, but there are signs of biological activity aboard." The Kethany captain made his decision quickly. The Galactic Preservation Act required all spacefaring species to assist vessels in distress, prepare a boarding party, take medical supplies and emergency food rations. These beings may be dying. Within an hour, Quindle led a team of 5 Kethany aboard the strange vessel. Their translator devices worked overtime as they moved through the narrow corridors. The ship's interior was cramped by their standards, designed for much smaller creatures. Everything was built from metal and plastic rather than the living materials most civilized species used. "The air composition is breathable," reported Medic Yilsa as she checked her instruments. "High nitrogen and oxygen content. Primitive but functional." They found the crew in what appeared to be a medical bay. 12 pods lined the walls, each containing a sleeping figure. The beings inside were small compared to the Kethany, probably no more than 6 feet tall. They had only 2 arms and 2 legs, and their skin was a pale pink color instead of the beautiful crystal tones of civilized species. "Are they dead?" Quindle asked. "No," Yilsa replied. "They appear to be in some form of suspended animation. Very crude, but effective. I believe I can wake them safely." The first pod opened with a soft hiss. The being inside had short brown hair and wore a dark blue uniform. His eyes opened slowly, and Quindle was startled by their appearance. Instead of the large, multifaceted eyes of most intelligent species, this creature had 2 small, forward-facing eyes that seemed to focus with disturbing intensity. The being sat up slowly, his movements careful and controlled. He looked at each of the Kethany rescuers, his strange eyes moving from one to another without showing any fear. Most species would have been terrified to wake up surrounded by unknown aliens, but this one seemed to be studying them instead. "I am Commander Jake Morrison of the Terran vessel Defiant," the being said in a calm voice. The translator worked perfectly, converting his words into musical Kethany speech. "Who are you, and where are we?" "I am Science Officer Quindile of the Kethany trade vessel Zephyr's Edge," the alien replied. "We received your distress signal and came to help. Are you injured? Are your people in danger?" Jake Morrison stood up from his pod and stretched his muscles. Quindle noticed that the human moved with a strange kind of grace, like a creature that was always ready to spring into action. "We are fine. Our ship suffered damage during a system malfunction. We entered emergency sleep mode to conserve life support." "We can help you repair your vessel," Quindle offered. "Or if that is not possible, we can transport you to the nearest galactic outpost." "That would be appreciated," Morrison replied. He moved to the next pod and began the wake-up sequence. "Let me bring my crew online." One by one, the other humans emerged from their pods. Lieutenant Amy Carter was the second to wake, a woman with blonde hair and the same intense eyes as her commander. She looked at the alien rescuers with what appeared to be curiosity rather than fear. "Status report," Morrison said to her. "All systems are functioning within normal parameters," Carter replied. "The damage to our hull was not as severe as we initially thought. We could probably make repairs and continue our mission." "Mission?" Quindle asked. "What kind of mission were Yuan? Exploration? Morrison answered quickly. We are from a young civilization. We were exploring this region of space to learn about other species and possible trade opportunities. The rest of the human crew woke up over the next hour. Each one greeted their rescuers politely, but without the overwhelming gratitude that most species showed when saved from certain death. They moved around their ship with confident efficiency, checking systems and making repairs. Dr. Lisa Grant, the expedition science officer, was particularly interested in the Cathany biology. She asked detailed questions about their species, their technology, and their civilization. Her questions seemed innocent enough, but something about the way she asked them made Quindle uncomfortable. How many species belong to your galactic community? She asked. Currently, 47 civilized species participate in trade and diplomatic relations, Quindle replied. Most are peaceful herbivores or filter feeders. We have worked together for thousands of years to build a stable, peaceful galaxy. Fascinating, Grant said. And how do you handle conflicts between species? Conflicts are rare, Quindle explained. Most disagreements are resolved through the Galactic Council. We believe that cooperation is more beneficial than competition. Grant nodded and made notes on a small device. Of course, cooperation is much more civilized than violence. But as she spoke, Quindle noticed that her eyes never stopped moving. She seemed to be memorizing every detail of the Cathany equipment, every conversation, every piece of information she could gather. It reminded him of the way predators studied their prey before striking. The thought disturbed him. The Cathany had evolved from peaceful crystal feeders on a world with no dangerous predators. The concept of a species that had evolved from hunters was almost unimaginable to them. Captain Veltar arrived to meet the rescued humans personally. He was impressed by their politeness and their apparent eagerness to learn about galactic civilization. Morrison explained that humanity was a young species, only recently achieving faster-than-light travel. They had encountered no other intelligent life until now. We would be honored to escort you to Nexus Prime, Veltar offered. It is the primary diplomatic station for our galactic community. There, you can meet representatives from all the major species and begin the process of joining our peaceful alliance. We would be grateful for that opportunity, Morrison replied. My people have always dreamed of finding other intelligent life in the universe. To discover that there is an entire community of peaceful species working together is beyond our greatest hopes. As the humans prepared to abandon their damaged ship and transfer to the Zephyr's Edge, Quindle made detailed notes in his report. He described the humans as a primitive but promising species. Their technology was crude, their ship was small and poorly armed, and they seemed to have no understanding of the greater galaxy around them. But something nagged at him. The way they moved, the way they watched everything around them, the way they asked questions that seemed innocent but gathered vast amounts of information. It reminded him of something he had seen in nature documentaries about extinct predator species. He pushed the thought away. The galaxy had been at peace for millennia. Every intelligent species had evolved from prey animals, creatures that had learned to cooperate and share resources. The idea of a species that had evolved from hunters was just a disturbing fantasy. As the Zephyr's Edge set course for Nexus Prime, carrying its human passengers toward their first contact with galactic civilization, none of the Cathany crew realized that they were not rescuing a helpless species. They were delivering the galaxy's first apex predators directly to the heart of civilized space. The hunt was about to begin. The massive space station Nexus Prime hung in the void like a glittering jewel. Its crystalline towers stretched for miles in every direction, housing the diplomatic centers of 47 different species. Ambassador Morith of the Altarian Collective watched through the observation deck as the Cathany vessel approached with its unusual cargo. Morith was old, even by Altarian standards. His purple skin had the deep color that came with age, and his 6 arms moved with the wisdom of centuries. He had overseen first contact with dozens of species over his long life, but something about these humans made him uneasy. The preliminary Reports are fascinating, said his assistant, Counselor Yeppa. The younger Altarian's skin was still bright pink, showing her youth. These humans appear to be bipedal mammals from a Class M world. They use crude chemical propulsion and basic computer systems. And yet they achieved faster than light travel, Morith noted. That suggests either remarkable intelligence or remarkable determination. The Kethany transport docked smoothly with the station. Within an hour, the 12 humans were escorted to the main diplomatic hall. The enormous chamber was designed to accommodate species of all sizes and environmental needs. Floating platforms allowed aquatic species to participate, while atmospheric controls provided perfect conditions for each delegation. Commander Morrison led his crew into the hall with the same calm confidence he had shown on their ship. Dr. Grant walked beside him, her eyes taking in every detail of the alien architecture and technology. Lieutenant Carter followed close behind, her posture relaxed but alert. The sight that greeted them was overwhelming. Dozens of alien species filled the hall, each more fantastic than the last. The Vektari resembled giant butterflies with iridescent wings. The Moldari were slug-like creatures that moved on beds of slime. The Kristan delegation appeared to be living gemstones that communicated through colored light. "Welcome, humans of Terra," Morith said, his voice carrying easily across the hall thanks to the translation systems. "I am Ambassador Morith, Current, speaker for the Galactic Council. We are honored to welcome a new species to our peaceful community." Morrison stepped forward and bowed slightly. "Thank you, Ambassador. I am Commander Jake Morrison, representing the human species. We are deeply grateful for the rescue by the Kethany and for this opportunity to meet with your council." "Tell us about your world," requested High Counselor Zareth of the Ethereal Collective. She was a creature of pure energy contained within a shimmering force field. "What is your species like? How do you organize your society?" Morrison had prepared for this moment during the journey to Nexus Prime. Earth is a beautiful world with diverse environments. Humans have organized themselves into various nations and governments. We have worked hard to overcome our primitive past and build a peaceful civilization based on cooperation and mutual respect. Dr. Grant stepped forward when asked about human biology. "We are omnivores, capable of digesting both plant and animal matter. Our average lifespan is approximately 70 to 80 years. We reproduce through sexual reproduction and care for our young for extended periods." The information seemed to satisfy the council members. Most species followed similar patterns, though few were omnivores. The ability to eat both plants and animals was somewhat unusual, but not alarming. "And your technology?" asked Engineer Prime Kleichtel of the Mechanical Collective. The robot-like being was one of the few artificial intelligences granted full citizenship in the galactic community. "We are still quite primitive," Morrison replied humbly. "Our fastest ships can barely reach half the speed of light. Our weapons are mostly chemical explosives and kinetic projectiles. We have basic computers and communication systems, but nothing compared to what we have seen here." The council members exchanged glances. The humans seemed refreshingly honest about their limitations. Too often, new species tried to exaggerate their capabilities to gain better trading positions. Over the following days, the humans participated in cultural exchange programs. They demonstrated what they called games, starting with chess. Dr. Grant explained the rules to a group of fascinated aliens. "Each piece moves in a specific pattern," she said, moving the wooden figures across the board. "The goal is to trap your opponent's king so that it cannot escape capture." The Kethany observer, Quindle, found the game disturbing. But why must one side lose? Why not find a solution that benefits both players? "Competition can be educational," Morrison explained. "It teaches strategic thinking and helps us prepare for challenges." "What kind of challenges?" asked Yeppa. "Natural disasters, resource shortages, conflicts between groups," Morrison replied smoothly. "Competition in games helps us develop the skills needed to overcome these problems." The humans also introduced poker, which they explained as a game of probability and psychology. The aliens found it even more disturbing than chess because it involved deception and bluffing. You deliberately lie to your opponents? Asked Morith. It's part of the game, Lieutenant Carter explained. The ability to hide your true intentions while reading the intentions of others is a valuable skill. Valuable for what purpose? Pressed the ambassador. Negotiation, diplomacy, trade, Carter replied. Understanding when someone is being truthful or deceptive is important in any interaction. The council members were uncomfortable with this concept. In their peaceful civilization, deception was rare and considered primitive behavior. The idea that a species would practice deception as entertainment was deeply unsettling. During the medical examinations required for all new species, Dr. Yulsa made several interesting discoveries. The humans had remarkably fast reflexes, much faster than any known species. Their muscle density was unusually high, and their bone structure was incredibly robust. Their eyes are particularly interesting, she reported to the council. They have binocular vision with excellent depth perception. This is typically found in predator species, but these humans claim to be peaceful. Perhaps it is an evolutionary remnant, suggested Morith. Many species retain features from their primitive ancestors. But the most disturbing discovery came when the humans were asked about their planet's history. Morrison spoke of humanity's great achievements, their art, their philosophy, their scientific advances. But when pressed for details about their past, the information became vague. We have had our share of conflicts, Morrison admitted. But we have learned from our mistakes. We now understand that cooperation is more effective than competition. What happened to the other intelligent species on your world? Asked Zarath. Morrison paused for a moment. There were no other intelligent species. Humans were the only ones to develop civilization on Earth. How unusual, Morith noted. Most worlds that produce intelligent life have multiple species that evolve together. Competition between them usually leads to faster technological development. Perhaps that is why our development was slower, Morrison suggested. We had to learn cooperation without the pressure of competing with other intelligent species. The explanation seemed reasonable, but something about Morrison's tone made several council members uneasy. There was a flatness to his voice when he spoke of other species, as if the topic was somehow uncomfortable for him. Dr. Grant proved to be an eager student of galactic civilization. She asked detailed questions about each species' homeworld, their biology, their technology, and their military capabilities. Her questions seemed innocent enough, but the breadth of information she sought was remarkable. You have a very curious mind, Counselor Yapa observed. Knowledge is precious, Grant replied. My people have always believed that understanding leads to better cooperation. But as she spoke, her eyes were calculating. She memorized every detail of the station's layout, every security protocol, every technological system she encountered. To the aliens, she appeared to be a dedicated scientist. In reality, she was conducting the most thorough intelligence-gathering operation in human history. The council spent days debating humanity's status. The humans appeared to be a young, primitive species with great potential. They were clearly intelligent and seemed genuinely interested in peaceful cooperation. Their technology was crude but functional, and their society appeared to be transitioning from a competitive past to a cooperative future. I recommend we grant them provisional membership, Morith announced. They can be assigned to one of the agricultural worlds where they can develop safely under our guidance. Which world would be most suitable? Asked Zarath. Haven 7 is perfect, suggested Yepa. It has a mild climate, fertile soil, and no dangerous predators. They can establish a colony there and learn to integrate with galactic civilization gradually. The vote was unanimous. The humans would be given provisional membership in the galactic community and assigned to Haven 7 for their development. The council believed they were being generous, offering these primitive beings a chance to join the most advanced civilization in the galaxy. Commander Morrison accepted the decision with appropriate humility and gratitude. We are honored by your trust, he said. We will work hard to prove ourselves worthy of membership in your peaceful community. As the humans prepared to leave for their new home, none of the council members noticed the subtle signals passing between them. Haven 7 was everything the Galactic Council had promised. The planet's 3 moons created gentle tides across vast blue oceans, while rolling green hills stretched to distant mountain ranges. The climate was mild and stable, perfect for the agricultural development that the Council believed would keep the humans safely occupied. Colony. Administrator Ben Parker stood on the observation deck of the main settlement, watching the sun set over the fertile plains. 2,000 humans had arrived over the past 6 months, establishing farms, research facilities, and what appeared to be a peaceful civilian colony. The weekly reports to the Galactic Council described steady progress in agriculture and integration with galactic civilization. Administrator Ilix of the Cathany Oversight Team reviewed these reports with satisfaction. The humans seemed to be adapting well to their new world. Their population was growing slowly but steadily, and they had successfully cultivated several native food crops. More importantly, they showed no signs of the aggressive behavior that sometimes emerged in newly relocated species. They are remarkably peaceful, Ilix reported to the Council during his monthly briefing. No conflicts between groups, no territorial disputes, no signs of the competitive behavior we observed in their games. Perhaps isolation from other species has allowed them to develop their cooperative instincts. What Ilix did not see was the real colony hidden beneath the surface. Engineer Danny Kim had spent months studying the alien technology provided by the Council. In underground workshops, human technicians reverse-engineered Cathany computers, Altarian power systems, and crystalline communication devices. Every piece of equipment was carefully analyzed, improved, and adapted for human use. Dr. Susan Walsh worked in a secret laboratory beneath the Agricultural Research Station. Her official job was studying Haven 7's ecosystem to ensure human farming did not damage the environment. Her real work involved analyzing tissue samples from every alien species that had visited the colony, studying their biology, their weaknesses, and their potential as threats or resources. The results are fascinating, Walsh reported to Parker. During one of their encrypted communications, every major species in the galactic community evolved from prey animals. Herbivores, filter feeders, scavengers, not a single predator species among them. What does that mean for us? Parker asked. It means they have no instinctive understanding of predator behavior, Walsh explained. They cannot recognize the signs, because they have never needed to. We are completely outside their evolutionary experience. This explained much about the aliens' behavior. Their technology was advanced but defensive in nature. Their ships were fast but lightly armed. Their society was organized around cooperation and resource sharing rather than competition and dominance. They had created a stable, peaceful civilization because they had never needed to defend against creatures like humans. Security Chief Kate Rodriguez supervised the colony's real military preparations. The humans had not been idle during their months on Haven 7. They had established hidden weapon caches, training facilities, and communication networks. Every human in the colony had received basic military training disguised as emergency preparedness drills. The local wildlife is already under control, Rodriguez reported to Parker. We have cataloged every species on the planet and identified the ones that pose potential threats. The pest control program had been systematic and efficient. Humans had eliminated 17 species of large predators that might have threatened the colony. The aliens believed this was standard agricultural practice, but Rodriguez knew better. The humans were removing competition, establishing themselves as the dominant predators on Haven 7. The truth began to emerge during a routine inspection. 3 months after the colony's establishment, Ilix arrived with a team of environmental specialists to assess the impact of human agriculture on the planet's ecosystem. What they found disturbed them deeply. Administrator Parker, Ilix said, reviewing the environmental data, our scans show a significant decline in several native species. Some appear to be completely extinct in this region. We have had some problems with crop damage, Parker replied smoothly. Several species of large herbivores were destroying our fields. We implemented control measures to protect our food supply. Control measures? Ilix asked. Hunting, Parker explained. We tracked the problem animals and eliminated them. It is a common practice on Earth when wildlife interferes with agriculture. The Kethany administrator was horrified. You killed them? All of them? Only the ones that posed a threat to our survival, Parker said. We are not wasteful. We used every part of each animal for food, materials, and research. Dr. Walsh joined the conversation, carrying a tablet with detailed records. We have documented every species we encountered. Our research has helped us understand the local ecosystem better. We believe our actions have actually improved the ecological balance. Ilix studied the data with growing alarm. The humans had not simply killed problem animals. They had conducted a systematic extermination campaign against every large predator on the continent. The efficiency was remarkable, but the coldness of it was terrifying. How did you track them so effectively? Ilix asked. Humans are natural hunters, Rodriguez explained, joining the group. We have excellent tracking abilities, good endurance, and sophisticated teamwork. These skills helped us survive on Earth, and they serve us well here. But these were not dangerous predators, Ilix protested. The largest of them were herbivores that occasionally damaged crops. Size is not the only factor, Rodriguez replied. Any animal that can interfere with human activities is potentially dangerous. We prefer to eliminate threats before they become serious problems. The aliens struggled to understand this logic. In their experience, conflicts with wildlife were resolved through barriers, relocation, or behavioral modification. The idea of systematically killing entire species seemed primitive and brutal. Walsh's research revealed even more disturbing truths. Her analysis of alien tissue samples had uncovered fundamental differences between humans and every other galactic species. Human reaction times were twice as fast as the galactic average. Their endurance capabilities far exceeded any known species. Their ability to process and digest almost any organic matter made them impossibly adaptable. Most interesting of all, Walsh explained to the inspection team, humans show no instinctive fear response to creatures larger than themselves. Other species flee from threats. Humans evaluate threats and respond accordingly, but fear does not override their judgment. This revelation explained much about human behavior that had puzzled the aliens. When faced with the 7-foot-tall Kethany, humans had shown curiosity rather than terror. When presented with the massive Galactic Council, they had displayed respect rather than submission. The inspection team prepared to leave Haven 7 with their disturbing findings. But Ilix had one more request. Administrator Parker, the Council is concerned about the isolated nature of your colony. We would like to relocate your people to a more integrated facility where you can interact with other species. Parker considered this request for a moment. We appreciate the Council's concern, but we prefer to remain here. Our people are comfortable with their current situation. We have worked hard to establish this colony and do not wish to abandon it. It is not a request, Ilix said firmly. The Council has decided that integration is necessary for your species' development. You will be relocated to a multi-species facility within the next standard month. The room fell silent. For the first time since arriving on Haven 7, the humans stopped pretending to be grateful and submissive. Parker looked at Ilix with eyes that suddenly seemed much colder than before. I am afraid that will not be possible, Parker said quietly. We have decided to remain on Haven 7. You do not have a choice in this matter, Ilix replied. The Council has authority over all provisional members. Rodriguez stepped forward, her hand resting casually on what appeared to be a tool on her belt. Administrator Ilix, I think there has been a misunderstanding. Humanity's compliance with Council decisions has always been voluntary. We agreed to come to Haven 7 because it served our purposes. We will not be relocated because it does not serve our purposes. The aliens suddenly realized that something fundamental had changed. The humans were no longer asking for permission or expressing gratitude. They were stating facts with the calm confidence of a species that had never learned to fear authority. "You cannot refuse council authority," Illich said, but his voice lacked conviction. "We are not refusing anything," Parker replied. "We are simply choosing a different path. The council is welcome to try to force us to relocate, but I should warn you that humans do not respond well to coercion." The inspection team left Haven 7 in confused silence. Their report to the Galactic Council would change everything. The humans were not the primitive, grateful species they had appeared to be. They were something else entirely, something that had never existed in the galactic community's peaceful history. As their ship departed, Rodriguez watched from the observation deck. "How long do you think it will take them to figure out what we really are?" she asked Parker. "Not long," Parker replied, "but it will not matter. We have learned everything we need to know about them." The emergency session of the Galactic Council began at dawn on Nexus Prime. Ambassador Morath had never seen the Great Hall so filled with panic. Representatives from all 47 member species crowded into the chamber, their voices creating a chaos of sound that the translation system struggled to process. "Order, order," Morath called, his 6 arms gesturing for calm. "We must approach this situation rationally." High Counselor Zareth's energy form flickered with agitation. "Rational? The humans have disappeared from Haven 7. An entire colony of 2,000 beings has vanished without a trace." The reports had arrived in the early hours of the morning. The Cathany oversight team had returned to Haven 7 for a scheduled inspection, only to find empty buildings and abandoned farms. No signs of struggle, no distress signals, no indication of where the humans had gone. They had simply left, taking all their equipment and leaving behind only a single message broadcast on all frequencies. "The message was clear," reported Illich, who had barely escaped from Haven 7. "Commander Morrison thanked us for our hospitality and informed us that humanity was ready to explore the galaxy independently. They stated that they no longer required council supervision." "They cannot simply leave," protested Counselor Yeppa. "They are provisional members. They have obligations to the galactic community." But even as she spoke, reports began flooding in from across known space. Human ships had been spotted near mining stations, trading posts, and agricultural worlds. Not the primitive vessel they had first encountered, but sleek, fast ships that incorporated the best of galactic technology with disturbing improvements. Admiral Coxall of the Galactic Defense Force stood before the council, his reptilian features showing the strain of the past few hours. "We have confirmed human presence at 17 different locations across 3 sectors. They are not attacking, but they are making contact with isolated stations and smaller worlds." "What kind of contact?" Morath asked. "They are offering protection services," Coxall replied grimly. "They approach stations that are vulnerable to pirate attacks or natural disasters and offer to defend them in exchange for supplies and information." The council members exchanged worried glances. This was not the behavior of a grateful species learning to integrate with galactic civilization. This was systematic expansion using methods that none of them fully understood. "We must stop them," declared Representative Kixelon of the Unified Mining Consortium. "They are disrupting established trade routes and interfering with lawful commerce." Admiral Coxall nodded. "I have assembled the largest fleet in galactic history. 3,000 ships from 15 different species, armed with the most advanced weapons we possess. We will intercept the humans at their next known location and demand their surrender." The target was the mining station Kepler 439b, located in a remote asteroid field. Intelligence reports indicated that humans had taken control of the facility 3 days earlier. The miners had not been harmed, but they were now working under human supervision. Their productivity mysteriously increased by 40%. Captain Alex Turner stood on the bridge of the human ship Apex Striker, watching the approaching galactic fleet through the viewscreen. The sight was impressive, a massive formation of alien vessels representing the combined military might of nearly the entire galaxy. Any rational species would have surrendered immediately. Incoming transmission. reported Communications Officer Nick Hayes. "Put it through," Turner ordered. Admiral Coxall appeared on the screen, his scaled features stern with authority. "This is Admiral Coxall of the Galactic Defense Force. You are in violation of interstellar law and council authority. Surrender immediately or face the consequences." Turner smiled, an expression that would have terrified the aliens if they had understood its meaning. "Admiral Coxall, this is Captain Alex Turner. We have no intention of surrendering. The mining station is under our protection now, and its workers are free to leave at any time. We are committing no crimes. You cannot simply claim authority over galactic facilities," Coxall replied. "The Council has jurisdiction over all member worlds and stations." "The miners disagree," Turner said calmly. "They voted to accept our protection after we eliminated the pirate raids that had been plaguing them for months. Sometimes democracy works in unexpected ways." It was true. The human approach had been simple and effective. They had arrived at Kepler 439b just as a pirate fleet was preparing to attack. In less than an hour, the pirates had been destroyed, their ships reduced to debris. The grateful miners had immediately agreed to work with their protectors. "You have 1 hour to evacuate the station," Coxall announced. "If you refuse, we will take it by force." Turner's smile widened. "Admiral, you command 3,000 ships. I have 200 humans. Does that seem like fair odds to you?" "More than fair," Coxall replied confidently. "It should be sufficient to demonstrate the consequences of defying galactic authority." The transmission ended, and Turner turned to his crew. They were all veterans of the intelligence-gathering mission, soldiers who had trained for this moment since before first contact. Each one knew exactly what they were facing and exactly how to respond. "All ships, prepare for engagement," Turner broadcast to the human fleet. "Remember, these are prey species. They think in terms of overwhelming numbers and defensive strategies. Show them what predators can do." The battle began with the galactic fleet advancing in perfect formation, their weapons charging with the coordinated precision of a species that had fought pirates and rebels for centuries. Their strategy was simple: surround the humans, overwhelm them with superior firepower, and force their surrender through sheer numbers. They had never fought predators before. The human ships moved like hunting packs, using the asteroid field to their advantage. They struck at weak points in the galactic formation, eliminated isolated vessels, and disappeared back into the rocks before the aliens could respond. Their weapons were more precise, their tactics more ruthless, and their coordination more effective than anything the galaxy had ever seen. Captain Turner's ship danced through the enemy formation, its weapons picking off command vessels with surgical precision. The humans had studied galactic military doctrine for months, identifying weaknesses that prey species could never see in themselves. "They are not fighting like any enemy we have faced," reported Coxall as tactical officer. "They show no fear of superior numbers. They attack larger ships without hesitation. Their behavior is completely irrational." But it was not irrational, it was predatory. Humans had evolved to hunt creatures larger and stronger than themselves. They understood pack tactics, patient stalking, and the precise application of force. At critical moments, the galactic fleet, designed to fight other prey species, had no defense against these strategies. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it ended, the human fleet remained intact while the galactic forces had been systematically dismantled. Not destroyed entirely, but crippled, their command structure shattered, their confidence broken. Admiral Coxall found himself facing Captain Turner on his viewscreen once again. The human looked completely calm, as if the battle had been a minor inconvenience rather than the largest military engagement in galactic history. "Admiral, your fleet is disabled, but your crews are alive," Turner said. "We could have destroyed you completely, but we chose not to. Consider this a demonstration of human restraint. What do you want?" Coxall asked, his voice defeated. "Nothing that you are not already giving us," Turner replied. "The galaxy is large enough for all of us. We simply want our fair share of it." News of the battle spread across the galaxy within hours. The reports were almost impossible to believe. The largest military force ever assembled had been defeated by 200 humans using ships that were supposedly primitive. The psychological impact was devastating, Dr. Roy Chun, now serving as humanity's primary negotiator, broadcast a message to every world in the galactic community. His tone was reasonable, his words carefully chosen to sound peaceful rather than threatening. To the peoples of the galaxy, Chun began, humanity bears no ill will toward any species or world. We seek only to take our place among the stars as equals, not as subjects. We offer our protection to any world that desires it, and our friendship to any species that accepts it. The message continued with a demonstration of human technological capability. In the months since first contact, humanity had not only reverse-engineered alien technology but improved upon it dramatically. Their ships were faster than anything in the galactic fleet. Their weapons were more accurate than the most advanced military systems. Their communication networks could reach across the galaxy instantly. We understand that our methods may seem aggressive to species that have known only peace, Chun continued. But the galaxy is not as safe as you believe. There are threats beyond your borders, dangers that your peaceful nature cannot comprehend. Humanity is prepared to face these threats and protect those who cannot protect themselves. The message ended with a simple offer: coexistence through strength, or the systematic expansion of human influence across every inhabited world in known space. The choice was theirs, but the outcome was inevitable. On Nexus Prime, the Galactic Council sat in stunned silence as they realized the true scope of their mistake. 6 months after the Battle of Kepler 439b, the galaxy had changed beyond recognition. The massive holographic display in the Emergency Council chamber on Nexus Prime showed the new reality in stark detail. 17 star systems now flew human flags, their colors marking territories that had once belonged to the peaceful galactic community. High Counselor Zareth floated before the assembled representatives, her energy form dimmed with exhaustion and defeat. The once proud leader of galactic civilization looked old beyond her years, worn down by the impossible task of responding to humanity's relentless expansion. "The latest reports are not encouraging," she announced to the gathering. "The Cygnus Mining Collective has voted to accept human protection. The agricultural worlds of the Vega system have signed mutual defense treaties with human colonies. 3 more trading stations have requested human security forces." Ambassador Morith listened with growing despair. Each world that accepted human protection was another step toward complete human dominance. The process was always the same. Humans would arrive at a vulnerable world, eliminate whatever threats existed, and offer their services as protectors. The grateful populations would accept, not understanding that they were trading their independence for security. "They are not conquering us," Morith said quietly. "They are making us choose to surrender?" The strategy was brilliant and completely alien to the galactic mindset. Traditional conquest involved force and submission. Human expansion worked through what they called negotiated acquisition. They offered protection that the peaceful species genuinely needed, solved problems that the galactic government could not handle, and provided security that was both effective and voluntary. Captain Morrison, now bearing the title of Terran Ambassador, had arrived at Nexus Prime 3 days earlier aboard the massive warship Humanity's Edge. The vessel dwarfed everything in the station's docking bays, its dark hull bristling with weapons that incorporated the best of galactic technology enhanced by human innovation. The formal meeting was scheduled for the main council chamber, but everyone knew it was not a negotiation between equals. It was a surrender ceremony disguised as diplomacy. Morrison entered the chamber with the same calm confidence he had shown during first contact. Behind him walked Dr. Chun, Dr. Grant, and a small delegation of human officials. They moved with the easy grace of predators in complete control of their environment. "Honored counselors," Morrison began, his voice carrying easily across the vast hall, "I come to you not as a conqueror but as a neighbor seeking to formalize our relationship." Zareth H. flickered with barely controlled anger. "Relationship? You have systematically dismantled the galactic community that took millennia to build. We have offered protection to worlds that needed it, Morrison replied calmly. Every world that has accepted human security has done so voluntarily. We have forced no one to join us. You eliminated their other choices, protested Counselor Yepa. You destroyed pirate fleets, eliminated natural threats, and made yourselves indispensable. Then you offered protection that they could not refuse. Morrison nodded approvingly. Exactly. We solved problems that your community could not or would not address. We provided security that your peaceful nature made impossible. We offered what you could not deliver. The truth was uncomfortable but undeniable. The galactic community had been built on cooperation and mutual respect, but it had no effective way to deal with violence or aggression. When pirates attacked, they relied on defensive measures and diplomatic protests. When natural disasters struck, they provided aid after the damage was done. When predators threatened peaceful worlds, they offered sympathy but little practical help. Humans offered something completely different. The promise of absolute security backed by overwhelming force. They did not negotiate with pirates. They destroyed them. They did not wait for disasters. They prevented them. They did not sympathize with threatened worlds. They eliminated the threats. What are your terms? Morith asked, his voice hollow with defeat. Morrison gestured to Dr. Chung, who activated a holographic display showing the new galactic structure that humanity proposed. The image was elegant in its simplicity, humanity at the center with all other species arranged around them in a protective hierarchy. The Terran Protectorate, Chun explained. Humanity will serve as the primary guardian of galactic civilization. All existing species will maintain their autonomy and internal governance. In exchange, they will acknowledge human authority in matters of external defense and expansion, and if we refuse, Zareth asked, then you will continue to face the same problems that brought you to this point, Morrison replied. Pirates will continue to raid your shipping. Natural disasters will continue to devastate unprepared worlds. Aggressive species from beyond our borders will continue to threaten peaceful civilizations. It was not really a threat, but a statement. A fact, the galaxy was not the safe place that the peaceful species had believed it to be. Their civilization had survived only because they had been lucky enough to avoid serious external threats. Now that humanity had revealed the true nature of the universe, that luck had run out. What about expansion? Asked Engineer Prime Kleichtel. Will humanity continue to absorb new territories? Humanity will expand as necessary to ensure galactic security, Chun replied. We will establish bases in strategic locations, colonize worlds that require development, and explore regions that pose potential threats to civilization. The terms were not negotiations, they were announcements. Humanity had already decided how the galaxy would be organized. The Council could accept these decisions and maintain some dignity, or they could resist and be swept aside by forces they could not comprehend. Dr. Grant stepped forward with a tablet containing detailed analysis of galactic civilization. Our research has identified significant inefficiencies in current resource allocation and defense strategies. Under human guidance, we can increase productivity by an average of 30% while reducing security threats by 90%. The numbers were impressive, but the Council members understood their true meaning. Humans had been studying galactic civilization since first contact, identifying weaknesses and planning improvements. They had approached their expansion like engineers solving a problem rather than conquerors seeking glory. You have planned this from the beginning, Morith accused. We have planned for survival, Morrison corrected. Humanity learned long ago that the universe is a dangerous place filled with threats that do not respond to peaceful intentions. We prepared for what we knew was inevitable. The vote was held that evening in a chamber that felt more like a funeral than a legislative session. The representatives of 47 species faced a choice that was no choice at all. Accept human dominance voluntarily or have it imposed upon them through force. The final tally was unanimous. Every species voted to dissolve the Galactic Council and establish the Terran Protectorate with humanity as the dominant power. Some voted out of pragmatism, others out of fear, but all understood that resistance was pointless. Zareth announced. The results with a voice that carried the weight of civilizational defeat. The motion carries. The Galactic Council is hereby dissolved. Long live the Terran Protectorate. Morrison accepted the decision with appropriate solemnity, but there was no hiding the satisfaction in his eyes. Humanity had achieved in months what traditional conquerors took centuries to accomplish. They had not destroyed galactic civilization. They had absorbed it, improved it, and made it their own. In her private quarters that night, Dr. Grant completed her final report to Earth. Command. The mission had exceeded all expectations. Humanity had not only established a foothold in galactic civilization, but had become its undisputed leaders. Phase 1 is complete, she wrote. We have secured our position within the known galaxy and established the infrastructure for future expansion. The local species have accepted human dominance and will serve as valuable allies in the next phase. Phase 2 will begin immediately, the report continued. Deep space sensors have detected signs of advanced civilizations beyond our current borders. Some appear to be significantly more dangerous than anything we have encountered so far. Humanity must be prepared to face threats that may actually challenge our supremacy. The report ended with a simple statement that would have terrified the peaceful species if they had understood its implications. The hunt continues. The galaxy was just the beginning. On the bridge of humanity's edge, Captain Morrison stood. Before the vast view screen showing the lights of Nexus Prime, the station would soon be converted into the capital of the Terran Protectorate, its peaceful halls transformed into the command center of human expansion. Sir, reported Communications Officer Hayes, we are receiving signals from deep space. Unknown contacts approaching from the galactic rim. Morrison smiled with the cold satisfaction of a predator who had found new prey. Excellent. Signal Earth. Command. Tell them we have new neighbors to meet. The galaxy had learned why humans were feared as apex predators. Soon, they would learn that the universe contained predators even more dangerous than humanity had ever imagined. But that was a challenge for tomorrow. Tonight, the hunt had ended in complete victory.